Yo. What up? Good morning, GMG. Thursday. Oh, yeah, my favorite day on a week. July 18th, 2024. Another beautiful day to have a beautiful day. I got my co-host in the house, Tyler, Mando. How you guys doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Tyler, how you doing?
Just amazing. Whiff, top mover on the day. How could I not be feeling good? That the hat is absolutely still on. So
the hat came back on. I mean, maybe it was never off, but goddamn, is it top mover today? That's nice. It's a few times that Whiff and Mog are like top in the top 100 like movers of the day over the last few weeks. It's like a few times, like they're going band for band. It seems those two. I love it. 2 bags on 2 different chains. I love it. For the first time in a while, I have both at the same time. Feels good, man. Feels very.
I was scared they were gonna shake you out of your whip.
They did. I last Thursday night, I sold all of my whiff for Mog at like 585 mil, which aged pretty well because Mog outperformed whiff. But then 2 nights ago, I couldn't help it because I'm a degenerate. So I had a DC on Jupiter for like pretty decent size, like whiff buy, and it filled. So around like 215. So we're good. We're good. The one thing with me is I make a pitch late here and there, but I ain't no bitch. So I'm always going back in the market. I was talking about that with Ovi. He was like, you would be kicking yourself now. I was like, yeah, but you know what, Ovi? The good thing about me is you'll never find me sideline.
I mean, shout out to Ovi. He was arguably the most famous whiff capitulator / rebuyer.
And he's up good. He's up good. His moon bag is the size of my crypto portfolio. So he's like, yeah, that's my moon bag, and bro, that's my entire net worth. I love it for him though. That's my boy. He's coming on tomorrow. But anyways, today on the show, today, the market report as usual, crypto macro, all that good stuff. We're doing good. I mean, shit. I even got a notification that the Dow Jones hits another all-time high. I'm getting all these notifs now. Market's doing good. Mando's drinking Coca-Cola out of a glass bottle. I mean, we are so back. I mean, this is like peak performance right there. By the way, they taste better, right? I'm pretty sure they taste better.
Tastes good. French.
Oh, it's French. But do you have French Coke is so good. Oh my god.
It tastes better in Europe.
It tastes better in Europe, but you know where the best Coke is in Mexico. Because they use cane sugar on the bottled Mexican Coke. So like if you're in Texas, you can get that. And it's really good. And we're talking about the beverage, you degenerates. And just had to clarify that. Anyways,
can I just quickly come in and read the Trump comment about Coke just before we get into it?
Yes, you totally can. So what did Trump say? I feel like Trump is for everything.
Yeah, so Nick Carter shared this. I guess Donald Trump has a history with Diet Coke. I saw a headline that he used to drink like 12 per day, which is too many. But this is from yesterday. I'm quoting, I'm going to get you guys a Coke. Would you please come in? Who wants something to drink? Anybody? A little Coke? Cokes and Diet Cokes. One thing I'll say about Diet Coke, I've never seen anyone thin have a Diet Coke. No, it's always Diet Coke. I say it sort of in a friendly way. But people drink a Diet Coke, I've never seen a thin person drink it. I've just never seen it. These guys come in, they order regular Cokes, and they're thin. So I don't know what's going on. So go ahead.
This is so true, though. Like, I have a friend, Danny, orders Coke Zeros everywhere we go. But he's, not on his best behavior when it comes to food. And I'd be ordering, and I'd be healthy as fuck. And I'm ordering the full-blown Coke, like the real shit. Because if you're not, why do you just drink Coke? Wait, Mando, what kind of Coke? You're drinking zero.
Zero.
Ah, shit. Well, he's thin. Fuck, that doesn't work. Damn it. Because Mando's actually like Iron Man. You still hit the gym every day?
Yeah, this has actually been my first week off for like a year.
You must be. Do you want to take your shirt off? Show us what you're looking like right now. You must be like Iron Man.
Not again.
Dude, I remember when you sent that photo. Did that photo ever leak? That was like 6 months ago.
I did one last week. I'll send it to you.
Oh, yo, send it to me. I did one this morning. We're looking this, and I did before, after, year end, fucking mid-year. Let me tell you, dude, never felt better. But that Coke comment is true, man. Tyler, it's very, very true. I wish you had the accent when doing it. I'm gonna get you guys a Coke.
I was thinking, I'm gonna have to work on that.
Did you see that Kill Tony comedy show or whatever that's been going viral these days? guys, how funny is that actor is like really good.
Yeah, they're good. I actually haven't seen that clip. I need to watch it.
Oh, dude,
They did a Trump Biden.
Yeah, so it's both ways. Like they're making fun of the both of them, but I have to say, like he is really, really, really like this is what it's like to be.
Tony, how many more retarded guys do you have back?
Anything can happen.
This crowd is hungry for more retarded guys. Frankly, I don't think we've seen enough retarded guys. How about a retarded racist? Would you like to see?
It's really bad. Listen, it's stuff like that, but it's not really bad. I thought it was hilarious. But you guys should watch it.
That top clip is the best one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Listen, we're definitely getting our fair dose of humor on the TL these days. That's for sure. But anyways, after market report, we're gonna go through Tyler's top 100 because let me tell y'all. He's definitely got at least 100 things to talk about this morning because there's a lot fucking going on in the industry. And then last but not least, there's no last but not least. You know what? Let's pick someone and give him $100. That's the last but not least. Tomorrow's we have Ovi on tomorrow. We'll do a little bit spins all together, so it'll be fun. But let's pick someone in the audience that's live. We'll just do a whole like thing and stop. So make sure you're retweeting, follow us, and we'll pick you and give you $100. So anyways, without further ado, why don't we get right into it in this wonderful market?
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
Yeah, GM. So I think kind of unchanged, right? Since yesterday, maybe a little bit higher on Solana, but very, very thin flows. You had a really bad day yesterday in stocks. So I think it was the worst day in the NASDAQ for about since 2022. That was on the back of comments by Trump, where he basically pointed to the idea that he would look to potentially tax the Taiwanese chip makers, or at least Taiwan as a whole. And then there were comments similarly from Biden about making restrictions on the ability for chip makers to sell to China or have any sort of relationship with China. Just to have a bit of to zoom out a little bit there, the chips that the US has been making, NVIDIA in particular, but also some of the Taiwanese companies, which have US backing, or some of them have largely outsourced operations from some big US tech firms. They have got kind of proprietary chip technology, which is very, very important that the US keeps it. This is the reason why NVIDIA trades where it does, and many of the US AI and chip companies are well ahead of those in China is because of this. So there's like big crackdown on the ability for China to like reverse engineer this and make their own the machines essentially that make these chips. So that's basically where this has come from, and the fact that they were going to be a bit more aggressive about it, both Biden and Trump, and you saw the NASDAQ fall 3%, and mainly it was chip stocks. Now you've had a little bit of a rebound. There was some strong earnings overnight, but interestingly, crypto didn't really do much. So this is a good sign. Like we've seen this decoupling from macro for a while now. In fact, it's been sort of the lowest correlation between crypto and macro for many years, maybe even ever. It's almost like a negative correlation at the moment. And yesterday was a prime example. Like we are basically unchanged on the day, and macro got absolutely hammered. So for a lot of people who were scared, that in that period where macro was rallying and crypto wasn't, and everyone was like, oh, but as soon as macro turns, it could get really ugly. This was like a little bit of a window into what we could actually see, which is that they're kind of on completely different planes, or even opposite. Like they have negative correlation to each other. So that was a good sign, I felt. And crypto just remains strong today. In terms of major headlines, which are crypto specific, you saw that BlockFi, which is another of the major bankruptcies of last year, they're looking to repay some of their creditors this month. But the main headlines, which was maybe some supply, but nothing major, there was also a hack of a prominent Indian exchange.
I saw that.
which looks like it could be pretty bad. And looks
is
like
bad.
it's
It's
the North Korean.
$235 million.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's mainly SHIB, $100 million of SHIB. It looks like,
Oh my God.
alongside Pepe, ETH, and some other ETH-based coins. So the exchange is called WazirX. I've never heard of it before, but it's one of the biggest exchanges in India. Remember, India, basically a lot of firms were basically kicked out of India or left of their own accord and have been having to get licenses back. So Wazir is probably one of the more domestic exchanges. But yeah, that's a pretty big hack.
So
And see, yeah.
on that, just so you know, Zach XBT in the comments this morning was saying that this could be North Korea because of the way they are washing the money and acting post-hack.
Yeah, it's highly likely that it's Lazarus, which is the main North Korean hacker group. Which, I don't think that's really surprising to anyone. When someone steals 230 million, that's normally a pretty bad one. We've seen previous cases with bridges or with big projects where the private keys have been compromised of the multi-sig, and that looks like something that may have happened here. It was these are transferred out of a multi-sig, which would indicate that 2 of the multi-sig signers at least have been compromised. So yeah, this looks very sophisticated, but also kind of classic for a North Korean style exchange. So SHIB, I guess, is the main one that could sell off on the back of that, but just another case of being careful about where you keep your crypto.
Still up 10% on the day.
I think maybe refresh. I'm seeing down 8%.
Oh, 1 second. Maybe I'm wrong here. You're right. I'm sorry. It's down 8%. Oh, it was up 10 points, but then it kind of like the news, I guess, caught up.
Got it.
Yeah. So we had another inflow into the Bitcoin ETF. It was about 53 million. You had some comments, although it was kind of unclear if Jamie Dimon is changing his tone on Bitcoin. There's a lot of talk about him potentially being the new Treasury Secretary. Remember, he's the CEO of JP Morgan, who's been a very critical of crypto, in particular Bitcoin. There is talk about him stepping down in general from that role. There was some talk about him even being part of this presidential race. Like some Democrats wanted him to be their 11th hour candidate, but it would be interesting to see if he joins.
I don't know that. Wow.
Yeah, because he's kind of like Bloomberg in that he could run as a Democrat. Like it's not like he's had a particular political persuasion at any point. Or like an independent, so to speak. So yeah, he was. It'd be interesting to see if he changes his tone. He's obviously kind of one of the main boomers who's critical of Bitcoin. But let's see what happens there. And then the rest of the macro stuff I have here is that Vitalik kind of went pro Biden. Basically was critical of just choosing candidates based on being pro crypto, which is basically a reading into like, don't just support Trump because he supports crypto. I don't think it's a really surprise to anyone. Like Vitalik comes across pretty left-leaning. In fact, a lot of the original ideals of crypto are pretty left-leaning / socialist even. Things like DAOs are kind of anti-capitalist to a large extent, and I would say that a lot of the stuff that he has been proponents of are kind of decentralized. I wouldn't say socialism, but like there's different forms of government which are perhaps more inclusive. And it's if anyone's been watching, it's very, very clear that Vitalik is pretty left leaning.
You're really scared of what words you're using here.
No, I'm not. Like, he's not. I wouldn't say he's a communist, but I would say that he is very left leaning, and he always has been. But to the point where I think he's.
There's a lot of crypto ideals originally that were, I know, libertarian mostly on the Bitcoin side, but when you look at DAOs and things that more on the socialist side,
he's socialist. No, Vitalik's
the idea of common sharing, like common goods and etc.
Yeah, exactly. Vitalik's been trying to solve a lot of the classic issues of socialism essentially through crypto.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a really surprise to anyone that he's kind of come out pro Biden, but that's basically what he did. And then he got some heat for that, but who really cares? And you had the ETH ETF. A bunch of the issuers came out with different fees. They kind of all undercut each other, apart from Grayscale, which is keeping their fee at 2.5%, although they've launched one of their mini funds, which is what they did with Bitcoin as well. Expect to see massive outflows out of Grayscale, basically. 2.5% is 90% higher. Well, sorry, 10x higher than everyone else. So
can I ask what that means for the ETF and outflows and stuff? Is this something similar that we saw for Bitcoin?
I think you'll see something very similar now. And that the first headlines you'll see is massive outflow from Grayscale, and it was unclear because the others saw big inflows. So I don't know if you'll see a net move to the other ones. That's what you would assume, but you just don't know. So when we saw those headlines in the first couple of weeks of the Bitcoin ETF, they were taken pretty negatively, and Bitcoin dropped about 20%, 25%. I think people are probably more aware of it. I thought that Grayscale would be ahead of this a bit more. I didn't think they would keep it at 2.5%, but they have. Although they've tried to limit the damage by having this other fund with lower fees, but I don't know. This feels like they're setting themselves up very similarly to what happened with the Bitcoin ETF.
Yeah,
so we could be speaking about Grayscale outflows just like we were for weeks next week when these will launch.
Yeah,
agreed. It does feel maybe a little different with this mini trust product set up at 0.12%. So those fees, like, they're not zero, but they're close. Like, it's enough to be competitive.
Yeah.
So like it feels like they're trying to drive.
So what does that change, Tyler?
Well, like they didn't have that product for Bitcoin, right? So like it was just pure outflows.
Right.
Here you'll have at least an alternative product. So you can have outflows from
the
ETH trust to the mini trust as a bit of a balance. And 100%. This is like hard to predict this time around because we all had the data points from the Bitcoin ETFs. So like I feel like everyone's already starting to like think to like the next order effects, like how it could play out this time. But I mean, I think the fees are good. I mean, 0%. I've been bulling up a little bit, if I'm being honest. I'm starting to talk myself into more ETH ETF.
It's tough to bid. That's crazy. More bullish than you already are. That I love that. I sometimes I feel the same. I don't know how to get more bullish and then just get more bullish. It's a tough one there. I'm waiting on it's like also like, but I tell myself something like, oh, maybe there's going to be somewhat of a sort of a pullback like Bitcoin. But the thing is, if everyone's expecting it, then it usually doesn't happen. And what pullback are you waiting for? 3,200 ETH? So equal what? Save $200 per ETH? I don't know. It's I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me, but like we're seeing Larry Fink going on this press tour. Like he's gonna do the press tour for ETH for the Ether. Like it's gonna happen, and like they're betting on tokenization on there. Like they're going to BlackRock's gonna drive inflows.
Yeah,
I don't know with what percent, but they're gonna happen.
That let's before we go to your top here, Tyler. Let's talk about Jamie Dimon for a second. Is that how you say it? Jamie Dimon?
Diamond, yeah.
Man, that turn here. Like I saw it first on Yano's, founder of BlockWorks. I saw it on his tweet first. Jamie Dimon has all of a sudden changed his tune on Bitcoin, but then I saw it on Bitcoin Magazine. I just reposted it. I forgot where it was. It was here. So breaking. Donald Trump says Jamie Dimon has suddenly changed his tune on his anti-Bitcoin stance. Like that's like it's insane. It's really good news. Like if
it's news. So I think the caveat here is, you know how Trump kind of twists words, and like maybe not even twisting words, but like he'll say things in a roundabout fashion, and he'll like mix points. I've seen the interpretation that he's actually saying that Jamie Dimon has changed his tune on his allegiance to Trump. And like kind of along the lines of what Mando was saying, like there was a point where people were calling for him to be a potential Democratic candidate, and it's almost like he's changing his tune with respect to his allegiance. Like, and I think Trump was also just talking about Bitcoin in this broader conversation. Jamie Dimon hasn't commented on it. Like he refused to. So like this is one for me where like I need to hear him say it.
Yeah.
And even will I really believe it? I don't know. But his comments have been pretty damning, even recently, right? Like
we all remember his speech at Davos. Like that was the most anti-Bitcoin thing that he said never going to say the word Bitcoin again. Then like 2 weeks later on TV, he was talking about that. So anyways, I mean, there's an article in Forbes saying like even Forbes pick up on that. I mean, it's all headline, right? Like even Forbes, like this is a Forbes website, right?
It's big if true. Like, I will admit that.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to stop there for a sec. Fuck, these ads are crazy, bro. But there's like ads everywhere. He's changed his tune. Trump reveals JP Morgan CEO sudden Bitcoin and crypto flip amid
I wouldn't read these articles out. You should read it from because it's an original interview, I think, that it came from.
Yeah.
And I think it's just if you actually read it, it's what Tyler said.
Yeah.
He said he's changed his tune, but it's a broader comment then about many different things. Look, if Jamie Dimon becomes Treasury Secretary, that's a huge move for him to move into politics. I was looking before, like in the UK, the finance minister or the equivalent of the Treasury Secretary, it's got a very, very high probability of them becoming the prime minister. And it doesn't seem to be the same in the US. Like I was looking at the last Treasury Secretary who became prime minister was John Tyler in the 1850s. Like that's strange to me because I think Jamie Dimon in the back of his mind kind of wants to be president of the United States. Like that's something that he's
all the billionaires that have power.
He's mentioned before, similar to Bloomberg, like he's one of these people that's wanted to have happen. But it's
definitely better than Janet Yellen.
Yeah, well, traditionally they come from finance.
Yeah,
but Jamie Dimon would be the biggest. Would be the big highest profile person to be hired into this spot for many decades, in my opinion. Apart from maybe Larry Summers, but that's about it.
Under George W. Bush, you guys had Jon Snow as Treasury Secretary, dude. So does it get bigger than Jon Snow from Game of Thrones? Y'all literally had the Game of Thrones character as Treasury Secretary of the United States of America under George W. Bush.
I think people are forgetting a little bit. It's like, I mean, Americans have historically, or at least in the last few decades, they've hated billionaires. So like Bloomberg got steamrolled by Biden in the Democratic primaries in 2020. So like when I saw people talking about like Diamon running, and I mean, I honestly think he would have been drawing dead in this election cycle.
I think the only reason they mentioned it is because you need to have somebody who could self-fund.
Yeah, true.
Because if Biden drops out, it can only go to Kamala. But if it's a self-funder, they can pay for it themselves.
Okay,
that's logical.
Well, there you go. That was your daily political intake. Aside from that iconic Biden intern tweet yesterday, which was incredible.
So we've got more potential politics to get into.
Okay, all right, Tyler. All right, he's itching.
NFT and crypto analysis. Tyler D on Fomo hour cause the kid can't miss.
Ready to bash some bears. We've got a laundry list of headlines here today. To start, crypto majors seeing some slight green after stocks had their worst day in 2 years. With top mover on the day, up 13%, while most other meme leaders were red. So that was notable. 10 ETH ETFs set to launch next week, most with 0% fees. Grayscale with 2.5%, though that Grayscale mini trust at 0.12%. Grayscale also announced a new AI crypto fund, seeking to provide its investors with access to blockchain and AI. So that was notable. State Street, another giant player news, looking at launching a stable coin plus a deposit token and getting into blockchain payments. We talked about Jamie Dimon potentially changing his tune as Bitcoin and politics continue to be the hot button item. On that note, we saw Vitalik publish his blog against choosing your political allegiances based on who is pro-crypto, which outlined the core issues that are more important than a binary crypto stance. And just a few hours later, Biden gets sick with COVID. We saw the infamous intern tweet, and it drove big action in the prediction markets. We'll get into that in a bit. In NFTs, Coinbase seemingly leaning into this Mr. Miggles cat as their potential mascot. Introducing this new The Internet Needs an Update campaign. They introduced this Mr. Miggles Remix Challenge Also, someone launched a meme coin, and this Miggles coin is up only. It's at 50 million bucks over on base. I haven't even been checking base lately, but have to check it for this one. A few other quick headlines. Mon Protocol announced a new Web3 investment fund, Mon Ventures, investing in pre-TGE stage blockchain projects. Known Origin is winding down operations. They confirmed that yesterday. And then in physical collectible news, more of a fun headline here. So billionaire Ken Griffin has purchased a Jurassic Stegosaurus skeleton for $45 million at Sotheby's, which is the most valuable fossil ever sold at auction. So Ken Griffin is just really going after the high-profile collectibles.
Wow. Look at that. Dinosaur. The cycle top last year was when, fun fact, these, myself, Sobi, Guys Galaxy, Jeebs, and a few people were talking about forming a Dino DAO to buy a dinosaur skull. And then we topped and then we raised to zero. So just know, if you and your friends group are talking about forming a DAO to buy something dumb, like a dinosaur skull, it was a Triceratops, I think. Just know you have to sell absolutely everything you own.
It's just top sign.
Yeah, it's definitely top signal when you're talking about DAOing and acquiring something like crazy. You know what I mean? I think that that's where this cycle, though, that for me personally in 2025, that's where I personally will draw the line for my cycle and call it quits, and then just show up and host every day. And not and not be in the market as heavily. But anyways, man, a lot of stuff to cover here. There was one specific thing that stood out. And Mr. Miggles. I mean, Tyler, you're the one who's on top of this shit. And you it's funny mail now. You telling me about this now?
Hey, I totally missed on this one. I was thinking it's like the NFT is going to be was a bust. So that's where this all started, right? They introduced this cat back on Tuesday. It came with a mint link. Saw like 300,000 or something mints in the first day. I said, check back here tomorrow. Tomorrow was yesterday. And they introduced this new campaign. You can remix Mr. Miggles. You can mint them as a part of on-chain summer. It just kind of felt like the same thing that Coinbase has been doing with on-chain summer. Like, have fun, mint something. It's not going to be valuable. What I missed were the degens that would launch the Miggles coin behind the scenes here. And yeah, I mean, if we go back to the decks, I mean, the thing is, at least in the first day, quite literally up only. Yeah. Oh, I guess, yeah. So I guess this launched on midday Tuesday. So I guess it must have launched same time as the NFT did. It chopped and then it really started going wild yesterday. This campaign, this is so 43 million bucks. Yeah, it's actually selling off right now, but
that is hilarious. Yeah, it is selling off right now. That's for sure. But did you guys see this specific video from the campaign? They're running like a really big campaign about what I liked about this video. If you watch it with sound, like they're running a whole campaign about creators owning their content and also being able to prove authenticity via blockchain tech, thus kind of going back to the fundamentals of NFTs. So they're kind of like using this NFT mint in a way to like show. Here it says creators, musicians, artists, even cats are what make the internet great because they make the content we all enjoy, but today's internet sidelines them, leaving them with only a fraction of the value they generate. So I don't know if you guys looked actually into the campaign behind the Mr. Miggles thing, but it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, they're good at these campaigns. Like whoever,
they're good at that stuff.
Department is good. I think some of the pushback I saw just broadly on the timeline is, I think the whole bull case for people buying into a lot of the base tokens was that at some point Coinbase would embrace them, they would list them.
Yeah,
and it just seems like they're just not interested in doing that. Like they had several native cat tokens they could have leaned into as potential mascots, and they go out and create their own, which I think probably caused some more frustration for those deep in the base trenches. But we'll see. Maybe Miggles can revive everything.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, and that was Davis posted at some point, like something about Base Carbon posted about like the base coins, but the meme game on base is really, and that was a bull at some point, but it's pretty weak, dude. Like It is so weak. I mean, there's like he posted this there. I found the tweet from July 15th. He's like, there's generally nothing to buy on base. And you look at this and you're like, well, you saw the did you guys see the DGen update from the other day? The bridge
No.
problem. People have been losing.
OTL3, yeah.
People have been losing 100% of their funds bridging using a DGen bridge. And they've committed to refunding people. So that stuff is not going well. And also Davies commented on that, but he was talking about how should have never been in L3 in the first start from the get-go because they had the intention of being the Farcaster coin, though it wasn't, right? But I don't know. It always goes back to Solana for the exception of Pepe and Mog. What do you guys think? Like when it comes to shitcoins, it's all on Sol besides Pepe and Mog.
Yeah, I'm super bullish on Solana. If I'm honest.
I mean, we know. Hey, how's your journey as a meme coin dev going in these days of Solana? Are you feeling confident?
I just mean in general, like I just feel as though I like the institutional angle for ETH, but it feels a little bit scary to me that that's kind of all it has at the moment. Yeah, I'm Solana's making comparable revenue now to ETH. Like
Insane.
In terms of fees and total economic value, it's kind of there or thereabouts. And yet it's a fifth of the size. And it's making that on 5 billion of TVL, right? Which tells you if Solana TVL goes up, it could be, it could dwarf it. So yeah, I just think that for me, although I own all of them, the one I'm really, really bullish on here is Solana. It just seems so mispriced to me. And whenever you see this sort of stuff by Base has some consumer applications it feels like coming, although a lot of the similar ones haven't really stayed active, right? Friendtech, what was the other one? FriendPet as well. The gaming side of stuff hasn't really caught on. So yeah, it's just tough. The L2 narrative just doesn't feel as anywhere near as strong as the monolithic L1 narrative this cycle.
I would agree. It definitely feels, I mean, I kind of hate to say it, but everything always felt a little more forced. The fact they never really leaned into like FriendTech as like their top consumer app, and now it's just totally abandoned, basically. So I mean, that's a negative. And then I mean, personally, when events happen, like if you want to trade the news, like the first DEX I check every morning, it's Solana. Like that's where that is where all the action is, and it's where the organic action is.
The most bullish thing happening on ETH this cycle is Polymarket, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 100%.
And that's happening on Matic, and I'm not even too sure if it's going to stay on Matic for forever, right? Like Polymarket might just make its own chain, just the way that it's going, right? Like it is its own app, it's its own beast right now. It's defining so much. It's just difficult. It's difficult for me to really get behind. It's not saying, particularly for NFTs, I still like the punk story. I still like some of the NFT story because they feel more like collectibles, and that doesn't necessarily need the same level of usability as some of the others. But yeah, it does. It just doesn't really feel like it's got it right now.
Yeah, it's really where the action's at. I mean, if I look at my watch list of memes, it's like there's 3 on ETH and the rest is all Sol. So it's like where most people are trading in and out of. And it seems like we got quite a bounce on it. I mean, Tyler, what are you looking at these days?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the show. I think it's Pepe, Mog, and a few downstream. I think one thing I like about ETH memes is because there's so much less action, there's like concentration. So it actually makes it a little bit easier. Like it's like one of the challenges on Sol, like if you're deep into this is from a meme coin lens, that there's so many competitors launching on any day that like there's real risk that even today's hot one is like a legit zero tomorrow, and it's a little bit different game over on ETH, which is nice for those who like to go to sleep with their bags. But I mean, the prediction markets, I think, is super fun, like a hot topical. Maybe we pivot into that a little bit, Fro. So I think one of the top stories from yesterday. So for the last few weeks, like the big headline for Biden has been he's steadfast. He's not dropping out of this race. For the first time yesterday, we saw a crack in that facade. He said that he would be willing to think about stepping down due to sickness. And then just a few hours later announced that, he had COVID, and the prediction markets just went absolutely nuts. Let me see some of the numbers here. So Kamala up to like 50%. Yeah, she's 50% to be the Dem nominee now. Biden to drop out of the race up to 67%. Interestingly, like Trump actually dropped a bit in his chances to win the election. I saw him around 70s, down at 66%. And then the other race that went nuts is the Democratic VP nominee. So Kamala is dropping like a stone because she's likely to be the president nominee. Roy Cooper and Josh Shapiro now are the front runners. I really kind of looked these guys up because I'm not really familiar with either of them.
See, Cooper, I'm telling you, this is the guy that GCR was texting with Shkreli about. I brought it up on the show last week or 2 weeks ago when Shkreli posted a screenshot, not a screenshot, but the fucking video thing, like a screen share. And GCR went, the one we don't talk about enough is Roy Cooper. And dude, like that would be a crazy call because the guy's also like under 1%. Man.
Yeah, if he nails it, it will be a fantastic call. I do wonder how much of like the bump in his odds is the GCR bump, because now like that's somewhat public news. That's GCR's horse in this race. But I mean, it really feels like Biden is on his way out.
Yeah.
He kind of set it up, right? He basically said, look, if the doctors tell me that I have a problem, then I won't run. And then I think the press secretary said yesterday that he'd had like a meeting with the doctors.
This is a pretty wild change, by the way. 52%. I've never seen it this high.
Yeah. Well, just over the last 24 hours, you saw a few things happen. You saw them delay the DNC, it looks like. So there had been some talk about them bringing it forward, which would have confirmed Biden, but then it looks like they're going to delay it. Pelosi came out and gave some very feeble support behind Biden, basically telling him that the race could be pretty bad. And then you basically seen these comments from Biden saying, hey, if a doctor tells me I can't run, I won't run. And then he's gotten COVID and he's not looking so good coming out of the plane and all this sort of stuff. Like, I think it's set up that this, if he's gonna walk away, it'll happen relatively soon, I think.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking to the DNC. Like the Dems have to be united with a candidate in one month.
I put $100 in Biden drops out of traditional race, and I'm up 3.42%. I'm now officially announcing that I am a political betting expert. I am up, and Biden drops out. I bought some shares the other day, $100 worth yesterday, and I'm $123.
Nice.
Boom.
Smart by Trump, though, right? He's just the only other person that could have really been other than Kamala was one of these billionaires, which would have been Jamie Dimon.
That's so true, bro.
And he's come out and basically offered Jamie Dimon the Treasury Secretary position and told him that he might be interested. Diamond can't really do anything now, can he? So it's just, you see what's happening, like the political move there. It's smart, right?
I saw the analogy. He's like setting up The Apprentice again with all of these people who are putting them in positions of power.
Yeah,
like Elon, a lot of the Silicon Valley VCs, Jamie Dimon, and like once they're in these positions, like they kind of have to continue being like bending the knee and giving him allegiance. And if they don't, right, he can pull out the firing card, which we know he's not afraid to do. So he's setting it up like that. That is a fact.
Elon was part of the first Trump. I remember he was brought in as an economic advisor. I don't you remember that? He was brought in as an economic advisor, I think, to the first Trump presidency.
Who?
And then he quit.
Diamond.
Elon.
Well, Elon. Yeah. There was something.
And then he quit because he was just like, it was a disaster. So, but I think that was about clean energy. more than anything. I don't know. It'll be around that.
A lot of stuff changes with the years and also with money being involved. That's for sure. I don't know if you guys saw Elon is moving his entire HQ into Austin. He's out.
Yeah.
He's out. He's out of California for X, I believe,
Not
right?
not Austin, right?
No, it's he said I'm pretty sure it's Austin. He said something about
no,
One of them's Stargate, one of them's Austin. I think so. Like X, I think is going to Austin. And then
X is going to
SpaceX.
Austin. Yeah, X is going to Austin because Tesla's already has the Gigafactory. Tesla's already in Texas, right?
Brownsville is where Starbase is.
Yeah.
So I think
where
this
that
is a little. This is more headline than substance. So like the operations are. It's going to be too expensive for him to move like the actual.
Yeah.
Like SpaceX operation out of California. Clearly, like he's not happy with what Newsom is doing over there.
It's hard to be happy with this guy's doing.
Most aren't.
There.
Which kills like Newsom's also like he was a presidential candidate. Like he was a horse in that race there for a bit. I think he was I think there was a period of time he was above Kamala. But
it was a period of time where he was at like 7-8 points when Kamala was under that before the whole like Biden getting sick stuff. There was a period of time when Newsom was like the guy that people were like hyping up.
Those days are over.
Yeah. It is what it is though, and I guess we'll see what happens on that front. It's gonna be interesting. This reality show continues though, Tyler. The reality show. It's one big reality show.
Feels like a reality show. Like we've got the Biden intern with like one of the most viral. Like I was applauding it. Like I thought it was hilarious. Like I know people were on both sides. I'm sick. I'm sick of the rich trying to buy this election.
I have to say, this was so good. Like that was brilliant. That was brilliant. From the intern. So it's an intern battle. This all has become a war memes. I don't know what how that is on the looks on the outside, but that's about it. But anyways, Tyler, anything else? Anything else you think we should double?
The more like substantive news from yesterday was the Grayscale AI news. So I'll just quickly go into it. So yesterday, Grayscale announced this new decentralized AI fund. It's seeking to provide its investors with access to blockchain and AI. The fund is made up of a basket of 5 decentralized AI protocols. Market caps in the $1 to $7 billion range. So Near is up first, 33% of the fund. Filecoin at 30%, Render at 25%, and then LivePeer at 8.6%, and Tau Bitensor at 3%. So these 5, they represent 3 primary categories of AI assets, including protocols building AI services, protocols addressing centralized AI problems, and then infrastructure and resources critical for this development. So the fund is going to continue to rebalance the basket quarterly as these tokens change. I think why this one matters for me is we saw the early stages of folks trying to make the AI crypto bet in 2024. I think Tau was top of mind for a lot of folks. And then it kind of faded off. I still think there's a chance that AI is, I think there's a dark horse chance that AI is the thing of this cycle. And like it's clearly meme coins right now, but like we've seen like retail investors, they want AI stocks. So we've seen it with NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA hit 3 trillion, 30% bigger than all of crypto. And it's almost like a meme bet on AI. Like people just want exposure to that. It's not crazy for me to think that they'll want to make the same bets in the crypto space. And a lot of folks just don't know where to start. I've seen that firsthand. And now Grayscale has outlined 5 potential options for like, this is where you can start. And this is where we're placing our bets. So like, if you don't know, I mean, here's a starter list right here. So I think it's huge for those 5 coins and then bigger for the broader
if
section.
that's the narrative that's gonna be pushed, that's like really like, but you know what, like these are the 5 coins that I've heard about the most, like even before this Grayscale announcement, like Render, Near, Filecoin, and Tau. I was hearing less about the other one, but of course like that was also one of the main narrative drivers. I feel like people were already pretty vocal about these on the timeline in general. Like Tau had like shit, Tau was up crazy.
Tau was super hot. It's a great name, great ticker. Yeah. And that one felt like the AI play for me, like in Q1.
Yeah, Render
kind of faded a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Hey, will we get an AI ETF at some point? Maybe, you never know. about these things down the line. So it's interesting to get to have a good basket in there. So yeah, that was big news indeed. You're right. But anyways, look, that's a good roundup. I think we've gone around the block quite a bit. Tomorrow's Friday. You love to see it. We're gonna have Ovi on. I think they want to talk about a little bit about some rec drinks, rec brands type of things, but also vibe with us. We have the robot spins. Let's pick someone to win right now. Actually, you know what, Tyler, you're gonna have the magic stop to pick someone to make $100 on this show right now. So I'm just gonna go like this and like that and like this and like that. I'm gonna move my finger from left to right, and you tell me when to stop.
No.
And the winner is OD. Hey, let's go. I know he's an avid listener. OD 3005.
Nice.
OG listener since very, very early on. So OD 3005 with the Chimpers. Well, by the way, Chimpers have been cooking, man.
They're working.
200,000 views on Giphy or something like that. They're cooking. So ODGM.
They launched new plushies this week.
Plushies. I feel like we're due for like a proper NFT roundup at some point. Between Doodles, Pudgy, Ape Chain, Chimpers. Thing is, there's some. It's we could at some point in the next couple of weeks, it could be a proper NFT like conversation. It would be good.
Yeah, I'm down.
It's I miss talking about NFTs. And it's fun, right? NFTs are fun.
Back. I think Beanie did the Doodle sweep yesterday.
Beanie swept Doodles. I mean, can we, dude? Beanie is bull posting Doodles, guys. It might be your fault. I know Beanie listens to this show in anonymous mode. I know you listening, Beanie, because sometimes he'll be texting me or reacting in tweets about topics that we talk about, and I know this MFer is listening. Come on, Beanie. What, Beanie? What you should come on the show. Actually, you know what? NFT Convo. I want to bring Beanie on.
Yes.
You know what? We should do that for the Beanie Convo. There it is. I think he swept, right? Because you tweeted how like you talked about on the show yesterday about how they were down and it makes no sense, and then they got swept up.
Yeah, almost right after.
Like literally, like right after. You see, this MFer is listening. Beanie, if you're listening, text me. Come on the show, MFer, and we'll talk about your Doodles. Okay? Oh wow, they're at 216.
2.16. Dude, that's a big move. So now we're talking like 30 to 40%.
Whoa, that's a move. Whoa, what a move. That's I'm impressed. That is a move. That would have been a good trade. See this? We still make good calls without even making calls on the show. See, we still got our finger on the pulse. I love that. We got the touch. Tyler did it again. Is that why your name is Tyler Did It? I never asked.
It's part of it.
There you go. Tyler did it. Tyler does it. Tyler does it again. Anyways, with that being said, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the episode of FOMO Hour on Rug Radio. Let's go.